your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
It's a sad, sad day. That's why we're playing that mournful music. Once again. You thought you could only die once? Well, apparently. Not if you're a balanced portfolio. Apparently, if you're a balanced portfolio, you can die 1,000 deaths. I'm sorry. I gotta pull myself together. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the funeral of the 60/40 portfolio. I'm Don McDonald in the Florida morning chamber. And over there in the aircraft hangar is Mr. Thomas C. Cock. Look, Tom, the plane.
Yes, I knew you were going to go there. That's too easy. Come on,
easy.
man.
Tom?
Yes.
Why are we mourning the death of the 60/40 again?
Well, because our friends at Bank of America, who are...
Oh, yeah, we love Bank of America.
Well, yeah, we haven't picked on them enough lately. Because they're taking all your money and making a lot of money on it while they pay you nothing. Bank of America said because of the synchronized sell-off a few weeks ago on equities or stocks and treasuries was likely just the beginning of what's to come for the popular 60/40 stock bond strategy. By the way, we're talking about 60% of your money in stocks, 40% of money in bonds. We'll talk about what kind of stocks
it's a traditional balanced portfolio.
Yeah, it's kind of your retirement. It's designed to make you 6 or 7% a year, lower volatility, make you enough to withdraw for and not run out of money. Bank of America is now calling it, wait for it, the end to 60/40. While Goldman Sachs says losses from such portfolios could swell to 10%, not 10%. And I don't want to get into all the reasons that they believe it, because I think all the reasons they believe it are silly. But because
silly is a nice word. I had some other words for it. But
and they've been saying this you're right, Don. This is not the first time this comes up every 6 months, every year that somebody says, well, that will never continue to work. And it's always because either one type of asset class of the stocks underproduces for a period of time, or like we are today, interest rates, bonds are paying so little that they say, well, you cannot sustain the growth to take out the 4% rule won't work in a 60/40 because bonds are only paying you 2%. So what do? Well, how about instead of conjecture, how about instead of ideas or what might happen, what if we look at the real numbers?
Oh, wait a minute. Is this three shows in a row where you've actually done research?
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Okay, here it is. Yeah, the 60/40 over the last year through the end of September.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound dead. It's up 24.2%.
Wow.
It's not quite dead. How about the last 10 years?
I'm not quite dead.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm feeling much better.
Bonds have not paid you a lot over the last 10 years.
I feel happy.
Have they? Have bonds paid you that much over the last?
No. My bonds have been really, really low returning. Yeah.
And yet the annualized return over the last 10 years, again through the end of September, 7.1%. 7.1%. Oh, okay, wait. That's not long enough period of time for you?
No, I want longer.
10 years. Who cares about 10 years? Well, how about the period January 2020 through the end of September 2021? That's more than 20 years.
No, it isn't. That's 1 year.
I said 2020. The annualized performance, January 2000, pardon me, can't read my own writing.
That's over 20 years.
January 2000 through the end of September 2021.
Yeah.
6.3%. At a time, by the way, when inflation has been very, very low, especially for the last 15 of those years.
And 10 of those years, the S&P 500 had a negative return.
Touché. Yeah, which brings me to one of the points about the death of the 60/40. If you are globally diversified, among large U.S. stocks, like John just mentioned, the Standard & Poor's 500, but you also own small, and you own value, and you own all around the globe, the returns have been very, very good for a very long period of time. So do I think you could still trust it? Sure. And by the way, interest rates are very low today. Will they always be this low? Well, I don't know. Will bonds only pay you
I don't
2% a
know.
year for a long period of time? I have no idea, but I do trust looking back. And by the way, I think we have numbers going back to 1970 where the 60/40s paid you somewhere in the nines if you really want to get into it, because we did have a period where bonds
I'm sorry.
made a lot of money. No,
I'm
you
sorry.
don't
If
wanna
we
look
go
at-
back to January 1st, 1974
Yeah.
through the end of September 2021, a 60/40 globally diversified portfolio. Globally. You had to be globally diversified. Your annualized return was more than 10% per year.
Yeah. Which is 1974, a year I can remember. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. But don't you
And-
wish? Here's an interesting number for you, just for people who say, yeah. So what does this mean to me? Well, let's just imagine for a minute that you had a semi-well-to-do relative in 1974. We were both teenagers.
Young bucks.
Teenagers.
Yes.
But let's say somebody left us $10,000. And we didn't know anything. So we globally invested in a 60/40 dull, boring portfolio that really never scared us. That $10,000 by
How much?
today,
How much?
$1 million.
So it worked out. Okay, by the way, just to go back to the reason people keep bringing this up, that the 60/40s, why do you think they would be mentioning this? Why do
Because
you
they've
think
got
they'd
a
be-
product to sell.
Oh, you are so cynical.
I
Yeah,
know.
they have what's called an alternative. Yeah,
fund.
they've got a better idea that, well, they tested it out in the laboratory and it might work. They ran a few numbers for the last few years and it crushes bonds over the last few years. And it does great in bull or bear markets when we try to back test it. Complete and utter nonsense. I think you should trust the white paper peer-reviewed research of academics, not the Wall Street money machine that has a new idea every hour.
Yeah. And it just makes sense. A 60/40 mutual funds have been around since the 30s.
Yeah.
The Vanguard Wellington Fund,
Wellington, okay.
which was
right.
originally just the Wellington Fund, was started in the 30s. It has had a consistent, in fact, let's use that. Let's just use that.
I
shall we?
love the Wellington Fund. I have mine medium rare every Saturday evening. It is perfect.
Yeah. And he said, my jokes are bad. What was that that intern of ours when she sent you a letter
wrote a very
saying
kind
something
note.
about your
Questionable
humor?
Well, you know, she's
She
on
said
her
you're
way
a nice
out.
guy, but the humor is questionable.
She's on her way out, obviously, after I read that. Can't take that.
She's ending her internship.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize that. I thought I was going to get to finally fire somebody.
This is actually, I'm just curious to see let's see, the 15-year track record of Vanguard Wellington is 8.74, 10 years, 11.32.
Wow. That's really, really good.
Yeah. So,
but that's
it's
also,
not
by the
dead.
way, the reason that has been better than just the global is because U.S. large growth has had a 10-year exceptional return compared to all those other asset classes.
Exactly. But you have to remember
bully.
that in the next 10 years, who knows which asset class will do better. That's why you want to have them all. 855-935-TALK. That is a very important phone number because you can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and leave questions for us to answer during the podcasts or on the show. You can also type them in at talkingrealmoney.com like so many do. For example, there's John who has this question for you, Tom.
Please. Okay.
Particularly, since he started it with "Hi, Tom and Don." I'm not answering it. I got second billing. My name is
not
John.
Right that time. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm 50 years old. Okay. First off, John, you're not too old for anything. You're just 50.
Yeah.
I thought I was getting old at 50. I was so young at 50. Man.
Barely even remember those days.
I'm married, and I also have in my name a Roth IRA, VTIAX. What is VTIAX?
Is that I know that one. That's
Total Index,
Yeah.
the Total International. Total International.
because we have that one on
mutual
our
fund.
website, right? Yeah, we do.
I think
Yep.
we do.
We do.
And a traditional IRA in IVOO.
Yeah. Dropping the gear.
IVOO, that is the S&P 400 mid-cap ETF. Wife has VTSAX. We know that one. That's
yes, we do.
VTWAX with just an S. These IRAs add up to about $111,000. I also have an employee 403B, which is VITFX and VMCIX. 75-25. My wife has a similar 403b. Neither of our employers match our 403s anymore,
Really?
so we've been
Oh.
focusing on maxing out IRAs. I just recently opened a brokerage account at TD Ameritrade and started funding 2 small value ETFs. SLYV. Wow, that's not one I know. Oh, it's the it's the Spider S&P 600 small cap value ETF.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
And AVDV.
Sorry, we don't know all these by heart, but
Avantis International Small Cap Value.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so far. I'm okay. I plan on contributing $6,000 a year to each of these ETFs. My question is, I know it takes a long time to see a premium with small value, and I'm mostly concerned with having enough money by the time I retire at 65 to last us, hopefully, until a ripe old age. I would like to accumulate 1.5 to 2 million by retirement. So at 50, am I too old to be investing in small value? We also have $50,000 in emergency fund. We contribute $2,500 a year to each of our 403bs. Thanks in advance. Love your podcast. I found it about a year ago. Wish I'd found it when I was a little younger. I could have invested so much more. P.S. I didn't even flinch during the March 2020 crash. I just saw it as an opportunity to buy more.
By the way, I flinched. Okay. But let's just go through
because you're
this.
old.
First of all, I didn't hear anything about Roth IRAs, and so I don't know what
he said. He has in his name a Roth IRA and a traditional.
But he said he's putting money into the IRAs. Okay, I mean, if you're Roth
I think he's
eligible,
putting money into the Roth.
Okay, if you're Roth eligible, when I think the cap is 208,000, 200 something like that thousand. If you make less than that as a family,
it sounds like they do.
Okay, then you should be putting the money there, not a regular non-deductible IRA. That's number one. Number two, in terms of the asset allocation, because this issue does come up, people come in older than you and say, hey, I'm like 64. Should I have money in these riskier asset classes? And the answer is yes. You should have a mix of all of them, including the riskier ones, because those have given you the upward motion. By the way, the last year, again, U.S. small cap value is up like 70%, something completely ridiculous. So we never know. And thank you for pointing that out, John. We never know when that premium will be paid. So the exposure has to be there all the time. And it should be whether you're 8 or 80, because you still, the decision you make for age for me is how much in stocks and how much in bonds, not how much in particular types of stocks. So yes, you should still have that exposure.
And we have to stop doing this. We all tend to do this. We think of our retirement age as some hard and fast line at which we suddenly go from more aggressive to absolutely conservative.
That is a very good point, Don. That's but people, you need to think through. It's like a running race, right? You don't run right to the finish line. You run through the finish line. That's how you should look at your retirement. You got to keep those legs chugging. You got to keep exposure to stocks because you need the growth especially when you quit working, because the portfolio is going to be the thing that pays you.
Right. And you got to figure, like, let's say at 50, you're 70-30 or 80-20 because you're an aggressive investor. Maybe by 60, you go down 10% in equities. Maybe then at 65, you go down another 10% in equities. But you still have a giant portion of your portfolio that is in more aggressive equity securities from which you will not draw. If things are going badly, you're just going to let them go. And if you retire at 65, most people, if you reach 65, the odds are you've got 20 years ahead of you. And you are not going to spend down that entire portfolio between 65 and 66 or 66 and 67. There will be a large portion of it that's going to go clear out, actually, unless you're the best allocator of assets of all time. Your money is going to go past your life. And that can be the more aggressive asset classes.
And can I make one final recommendation for you, John? Because it sounds like you're a good candidate to either chat with an advisor, because at 50, you're really in the red zone. But if you say, I don't want to do that, okay, that's fine. You can either go online and find retirement calculators, because it sounds like I don't know how much I need to save. I think Paul Merriman has a new one. There's others where you can input some of the numbers. It'll give you an idea of how much you need to save and what you need to make on that money to be in a great place between 60 and 65. rather than sort of guessing like, well, if I do this or what sort of stocks I should own. I, at 50, would want to know what life would look like, certainly at 60 or maybe 65.
Can I tease something? It's not ready yet. But every year in February we do Retire Meet. We're working on a pretty big deal for those of you who want to get some serious financial planning help. We haven't worked out all the details yet, but it's going to be pretty huge for people who attend Retire Meet. So you might want to just make your, plan February. You can attend it virtually.
No, come and see us in Bellevue. Come on.
Okay, we can only take 400 people in Bellevue.
True. And we've sold out
We sold out every year. So eventually it's going to go virtual. So, and the virtual one, the Bellevue one's going to cost you money, but you get fed. The other one, you got to feed yourself, but it's free. So, but we got something really cool. You want to pay attention as you hear Retire Meet ads coming up. All right?
Yeah. Good.
All right.
And in the interim, if you need help, you can call us or
call Vestry, our firm, at 800-386-3004, 800-386-3004, or just visit vestory.com, vestory.com, which stands for, it's actually a contraction of investment advisory, Vestry.
Shocker. I've had some great conversations this week, Don, so thank you for saying that. And I truly, really love it when you call me and I get to be the first person you talk to. It's fun
because it gets him out of meetings.
There's that. I
have to speak with someone who called from the show. I'm sorry, I can't go to that dull, boring corporate meeting.
I can't do the yard this afternoon. I got a phone call I got to take. Sorry.
For me, it's the meetings. I'd rather do I hate meetings. I hate meetings.
You've done a great job at Vestry since 2009. I think you've attended a half a dozen or so meetings. So well done, sir.
I try to make them count when I do them.
Exactly. When you show up, people go, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
Yeah. What's wrong?
Something's up.
Give you a number, 855-935-TALK. That's the number to call with your questions for our program, for our podcast, or you can just go to talkingrealmoney.com and type them in. Please, please, please spread the word. Tell friends, neighbors, relatives, anybody, people you hate. I don't care. They still deserve money help, even if you hate them. And check us out on Apple Podcasts, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, leave reviews on Apple Podcasts. They're the biggest. I'm sorry. They're the biggest. And thanks for listening. And we hope viewing if the sync of the audio and the video came out right this time. We'll see what happens. I am Don McDonald. That is Tom Cock. We spend a great deal of time with you doing something really important, and that is talking real money.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit talkingrealmoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.